Welcome to High Tech Heroes, a program which takes you behind the scenes of today's high-tech industries, where you can meet the people and examine the ideas creating tomorrow's technology. And now coming to you from the studios of Foothill College in Cable Access Los Altos, high atop the mountains overlooking Silicon Valley, here's your host, Sherwin Gooch.
Hello, I'm Sherwin Gooch. Welcome to High Tech Heroes. Our guest this week is an artist and single mother of two who grew up with an aircraft repair shop in her backyard. She has created artworks in many media, but she's known foremost as a sculptor, having created works from materials as diverse as bronze, aluminum, and stone, to wood and clay. While earning bachelor's and master's degrees in art from the University of Oregon, she took a course on computers in art, which led to a third degree, this time in computers and information systems. Hired out of school by Hewlett-Packard Corporation, she developed many Unix classes, which were eventually presented to both employees and customers. Moving on to become manager of technical services at startup Pyramid Technology gave her a chance to pursue her interest in Unix. Finally, Sun MicroSystems asked her to employ both her artistic and technical talents to create artistic demonstrations of their products. And so I'm happy to welcome a great computer animator, Maggie Bollock, to our program. Hello, Maggie, and welcome to High Tech Heroes.
Hi, Sherwin. It's an honor to be here.
Great. Well, so I understand you brought along some artworks to show us.
Yeah.
Sort of get a taste of what it is that you do.
Well, when I first started working in art, I really undertook the figure, and I studied it very seriously. And what I have here, and this piece that is just right above you, are two samples of my kind of intermediate figurative period. These particular pieces are somewhat abstract, not completely yet at this point. And you'll notice that there's a beginning of movement of the form away really from the figure, and yet the figure is still there. And you can see that, if I turn this around, you can kind of get a feel for how...
Now, are these a set, or these are two separate
These were done at a very similar point in time, and this is really my first breakaway from real serious figurative work.
But they're different materials.
This particular piece here on this side where my hand is made out of bronze, and you can see that it's actually cast out of bronze. I did a lot of work in bronze. And this particular piece is made out of clay, and it's painted. Okay, and then the next piece I brought is a sample from my more intermediate era when I started working more abstractly. And this particular piece here is made out of soapstone, and I originally started with an egg form, and you can kind of maybe see that, and then I cut the egg right at this point, and then I twisted it.
So is this one egg, or this looks like it's two eggs?
This is one egg here, and then what I did with the egg before I cut it is I actually took a profile of the egg.
Oh,
so you can see I'm starting to break away from the figure completely at this point.
And this is made from stone?
This is soapstone. Soapstone's a very soft material. It's very easy to work with for a stone.
What do you do? Do you chisel it, or do you sand it, or?
Everything. Whatever it takes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're no stranger to heavy equipment?
No, not at all. Okay, and then the last actual piece I have here is over on the other side. This piece is a landscape piece. And
now, it looks a lot like a contour map or something.
Well, it's actually, it initiated in a topographical study of the figure, where I basically took a snapshot of a small piece of the figure, and then I came in and manipulated the form after I did that. And of course, you can see where I actually took these things and I sliced the piece up, and I replicated some of the forms and repeated things. Okay, and that particular piece is made out of soapstone.
Now, is this influenced by flying a lot as a child, or? There's
a lot of that there as well. I mean, I actually did my final thesis on the relationship of the body to to landscape and the topographical natures of the body as related to like seeing the landscape from a very, very, very far distance above it.
And looks like human anatomy?
Yeah, it really does. If you get up close, I can. Yeah,
this piece of the gods or something.
This piece is actually a snapshot of about a breast down to, say, the pelvic, right across this area, And I just took some 2x4s and I put the clay in there, and then I put the plaster in it, and I took a cast of that.
Well, I guess that's one way we can show that subject matter on television.
That's right.
No problem. What else did you bring here?
Okay, well, my last piece I have is a piece that I actually have cast in bronze. This particular picture shows us a sketch that I did. This piece itself was about 11 inches high, and you can see that it's fairly thin in the picture. And then what I did with this is I actually entered it into a contest, and you can see in this next piece the final version of it.
Okay, now this looks like flames. You say it's...
Yeah, the name of this piece is Twin Flames.
Twin Flames.
You can see that the final piece is a lot different. It's much wider, and it's actually 4 feet high. Both of those pieces were cast in 2 separate pieces, 2 feet high a piece. So I actually had to cast 4 pieces and then weld the pieces together.
So that's 4 feet high. That's as big as a large Calder or, you know what, I guess a Miller or...
A small.
Small.
Yeah.
And where does this stand now?
This is in the courtyard of the Eugene City Hall, where I went to school. Actually, the city of Eugene bought it from me in Eugene. Yeah.
Well, that's really impressive. It's still there today.
Yeah.
That's where Ken Kesey is from, isn't it?
Close.
Close.
Very
huh?
close.
Okay. Now you're going to tell us, I guess, also about computers next, right?
That's right.
So, what exactly did you do? You took a Sun system and...
Yeah. Well, my basic interest was to see how I could take the equipment and the tools that we had available at Sun and make an animation. And so I did a lot of research to see what was there, and then once I kind of got my arms around that, I just started to work with the tools. And I worked very closely with, in the beginning, especially with a programmer named Rich Berlin, who helped me develop a lot of the pieces that we didn't have in place.
So this is mostly a tour de force of Sun MicroSystems tools and computers and...
That's right, and I wanted to show all the different kinds of things that we could do graphically. You know, the animation, image processing, rendering, those kinds of things. So I ended up combining 2-dimensional graphics and 3-dimensional graphics in a short animation project.
Great, and you brought that with you?
Yes, I did.
That's wonderful. So I guess we'll see that. You're going to explain to us how you did that?
Yeah.
And then we'll see the animation itself, I guess, shortly, right after this message of great social and political import.
You know, I've been playing rock and roll for a lot of years. I've done it all. Now I do it without drugs. Hey, don't get me wrong, I still party with the best of them, but now I do it clean. You know, I'm on top of everything I do.
Well, Fred, we should have had this sex talk earlier. You know, love is a wonderful thing, a beautiful experience, if you're ready. But, Fred, you're only 3, so you should wait until you're, well, older, because there's thousands of little Freddies born every day that are unwanted. Then they have to be put to sleep.
You can't stop your pets from acting naturally, but if you love them, you'll have them fixed. Call us. We can help.